Welcome at Hypnosolutions. Hello, I'm Jochen Bergmans. I'd like to spend a few moments with you before your session to talk a little bit about hypnosis, perhaps answer some of the questions you may have on your mind. This will save us a lot of time when your session actually begins. Please write down any questions you have so we can discuss them. Now, for you to understand how hypnosis works, it's very important for you to understand how your mind works. We never think about how our mind works. We have three very separate and very distinct minds. They do different things and they have a hard time interacting and communicating with each other. First, we have the conscious mind. That's where we are right now. Below that level of awareness, we have something called the subconscious mind. There is still a deeper part of us, the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind regulates our immune system and our body functions. For example, the beating of our heart, the blinking of our eyes. Things that we do without having to think about it. I bet you don't know how many times you have blinked with your eyes just now. Not until I brought it up to your conscious mind. You weren't aware of it until I brought it up. And that's the unconscious mind doing it for you without you having to think about it. The conscious mind is where we spend most of our time. I want you to understand that the conscious mind only does four things and no more. The first thing it does, it analyzes. Now, what is that? Well, that's the part of us that looks at problems, analyzes them, figures a way to solve those particular problems bothering us at the moment. It is also the part of us that makes the hundreds of decisions we have to make just to get through an average day. Decisions we think are automatic, but in fact are not. Things like, should I open the door? Should I turn the water on? Should I tie my shoes? Well, we think those are automatic functions, but we must make a decision as whether or not we do want to do these things. Now, the second part of the conscious mind is a part that starts to get us into a little trouble. We call this the rational part of our conscious mind. This part of us must give us a reason why we behave in any particular way. You see, if we don't have a reason why we do the things that we do, we become anxious, nervous, frustrated, and if it goes on long enough, it can lead to serious mental illness. The mental hospitals, for example, are full of people who do things they don't know why they do them. The reason behind the rational part of our conscious mind are never original. For example, the smoker says he smokes because it calms him and makes him feel relaxed. It gives him time to pause and gather his thoughts. The problem with these reasons are they are never original. Before the smoker developed this habit, he heard other people that smoked say, I smoke because it makes me feel calm and relaxed. We understand now the true reason why people are smokers. Generally, smokers start because of their need for security. They want to belong to another group of friends, usually in their younger years, somewhere between 12 and 20. Security is a basic need for all human beings. We generally get all the security we need when we grow up in a nice family. But usually at the age of 12 or 13, our parents don't seem as smart as they used to be. So we shut off our ability to gain security from those individuals, and we want that security being part of a group of kids. Some of them smoke, some of them don't. If we feel that we don't belong to this particular group, because our subconscious mind is a very interesting part of us, it must protect us against danger, and not getting the necessary security we need is a definite danger to us. It will say smokers are accepted and secure. When that happens, the next time someone offers you a cigarette and you take it, immediately you feel like you're part of this group and your security levels go up. That is why people start smoking. It has nothing to do with being calm or relaxed. So you must understand that the reason the rational mind gives us for why we behave in a particular way is never original and often incorrect. You don't start smoking because it makes you feel calm. You start when you need security. Now, the next part of the conscious mind is what we call willpower. Now, we are all familiar with willpower. You might say, I'm going to put down this pack of cigarettes and nothing on God's earth will make me start smoking again. Well, we all know how long that lasts. You know, if you go on a diet, how long that lasts. Just until willpower weakens and then the old habit pattern comes back again. The last part of the conscious mind is what we call working memory. That's the memory we need every day. For example, how do I find my way to work? What's my husband's or wife's name? What are my children's names? What is my phone number? The memory we need just to get through an average day. Now, this is all that the conscious mind does and nothing else. Now, where the real you lives is in the level below the conscious called the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is awesomely powerful. It can make you into anything you would like to be, rich and famous, thin, happy, or sad. It is the real you. To understand how the subconscious mind works, you need to understand that it's very much like a computer and it operates just like a computer operates. A computer can only operate based on the programming that is placed in it, and it must operate on that programming. It has no choice. If you change the programming in a computer, it no longer can operate on the old programming, and it must operate on the new programming information that has been placed into it. Well, this is the way our subconscious mind works. It is a computer. Let's think of it as our internal computer. It functions on the same rules as an electronic one does, only it is much more powerful. Our life experiences are what programs our internal computer. When we are born, our internal computer is basically unprogrammed. There's a little bit of programming in it, but not much. Every day we add programming to our internal computer. The primary rule of our internal computer is that it must make us to the person that we are based on information that is available in the subconscious mind. This information will remain in our subconscious mind for the rest of our lives. For example, if that computer of ours, based on its programming, says we're fat, we're fat. If it says we're thin or a smoker, a success or a failure, that is what we are. It adds up all the programming and it makes a decision about us, about the type of person that we are. This programming has been placed in there from many sources and it must operate on this programming. Our memory is part of the operational software that is installed on your internal computer. Our memory is in place since the day we were born. Things that have happened to us in the past are either forgotten or they are saved in our memory. We are talking about the working memory of the conscious mind. Now let's shift to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like a video camera. Everything that has ever happened to you, that you have heard, seen, smelled, or tasted is locked permanently into the memory banks of your subconscious mind. We never forget anything. If there's a reason to, in hypnosis, we can access that memory bank. And it seems like we can actually travel back in time. For example, in regression hypnosis, we can travel back and relive our first birthday or your birth. Now, this is much more than recall. It is actually like you are there. It is happening all over again. You can see what happened, you can smell, you can taste, you can hear very clearly. We never forget anything in the subconscious, only at the conscious level. Short-term memory is at the conscious level. Long-term memory is at the subconscious level. The second programming we have in the subconscious mind is habits. Now you have three kinds of habits, only three. You know you have some good habits. Of course you do. And you know we have some bad habits, don't we all? But really, most of our habits aren't good or bad. Most of our habits really are routine habits. Routine habits are when we automatically respond in a certain way when something happens. When the telephone rings, for example, we don't look at it and wonder what it is. We automatically pick up, and depending on our mood, we answer in a certain way. Now, the next thing in our subconscious mind are emotions. Of course, we wouldn't want to be without emotions, love and caring, and all those good other emotions, but sometimes our emotions can get us into trouble. The conscious mind cannot deal with emotions in any way. That's not part of its job. Anytime we need emotion, our conscious mind shuts down and we deal with this particular situation from our irrational, childlike, but highly intelligent subconscious mind. As I said, sometimes it gets us into trouble. I know that many times in the past you've dealt with a situation where a little emotion was needed, but way too many emotions came out. Then, after the situation was over and that analytical conscious mind took over again, you heard yourself thinking or saying something like this: why did I say that? Why did I do that? It was so stupid. And your subconscious mind laughed and said, yeah, but it was so much fun. This has happened to all of us at some time or another. Now, the next thing in the subconscious mind, and probably the most important part of it, it is our protective mind. It must protect us against danger, real or imagined. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real or not. That is the job of the conscious mind to tell the difference. A quick example. About a year ago, a woman came to see me. She was 5 foot and she weighed 286 pounds. She sat in the chair and told me about how she had an eating problem. But years of experience told me that she didn't have an eating problem. I knew that an event in her past caused her subconscious mind to protect her by making her heavy. Briefly, what happened with this particular woman was, and she could not recall this with her conscious mind, when she was 6 years old, her stepfather abused her. She told her mother, and her mother didn't believe her. She felt guilty, as if she was doing something wrong. She didn't get heavy at that point. When she was in high school, she only felt good about herself when she was a little bit wild. She felt that the boys in high school were just trying to use her. That didn't cause her to become heavy either. When she was 24 years old and she married her knight in shining armor, the man who could do no wrong, on their honeymoon, the second day they were married, they were having dinner in the Bahamas, and he decided to cleanse his soul and show her how much he loved her. He told her that when he was just a young guy, 18, 19 years old, he used to pick up girls and just use them and throw them away. Well, you can imagine what the subconscious mind felt about this man. After all, this woman felt that she could trust this man more than any other man in the world. The subconscious mind then went back into its memory banks and into its computer information and said, the stepfather hurt you very badly. The boys in high school are trying to hurt you very badly. And now this one man you could trust above every other man says he could do this to a woman, then he certainly has the capability of doing this to you. And instantly it made its decision, men hurt women. Therefore I must protect you against men. Now it cannot teach you karate, it cannot buy you a gun, so it protected her in the only way it could. And this woman began gaining weight rapidly. So very soon she became very fat, and certainly men no longer had interest in her, and she was protected. That is how the subconscious mind protects us at some times. In a way, we would prefer it didn't, but protection is its primary job. The last part of the subconscious mind is a negative part of us. Although the subconscious mind is so powerful, It is also the laziest part of us. It doesn't like to do the work that is required to accept positive suggestions to give us change in areas where we would like to have change. It likes to keep things just the way they are. It takes too much work to make change in a positive way, and positive suggestions are one of the most difficult things to get into your subconscious mind. On the other hand, negative suggestions go into your subconscious part of us like a hot knife through butter because it doesn't take any work to accept a negative suggestion. Let me show you how this works. You take a heavy person and they get out of the shower. They're standing in front of the mirror drying off. What do you think they're saying to themselves as they are looking in that mirror? Boy, I'm fat. Now that idea or thought of words go right into the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind says, yes, that matches the programming that I have in here. That matches my perceptions of you. Therefore, it accepts that suggestion, so the perception of that individual being fat becomes stronger and they become heavier. On the other hand, if you take the same heavy person and stand them in front of that mirror and have them say, I'm thin and I'm attractive, that goes toward the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind says, no, that does not match the programming and it's not allowed in. How do we get suggestions into the subconscious mind? Now, it is important for you to understand if an idea, a thought, or a concept is allowed in the subconscious mind, it must happen. You are changing programming and your subconscious mind must respond to the new programming. But it's not that easy. Let me explain how it works. You make a decision, let's say stop smoking. You make up your mind at the conscious level that nothing in the world is going to stop you from ending the smoking habit. Now, your conscious mind says, that is wonderful, and I support you 100%. You're going to be healthier, you're not going to get emphysema or heart or blood diseases. But to have change effectively happen, you have to get it down into your computer in order to change that programming. And you say, fine. And you start sending down that idea down in the subconscious mind. But there's just one problem. There's one more part of the conscious mind that I haven't told you about yet. I want you to think of this part of your conscious mind as kind of an employee of the subconscious. It only has one job. That job is to stop, to put on hold, like a red traffic light, any suggestion of positive change that we give ourselves or receive from outside sources. It stops it. And then there's this part that we call critical factor. See it as a mediator between the conscious and the subconscious mind. The critical factor says, well, this person wants to stop smoking. Can I let this suggestion in? Now remember, if that suggestion goes into the subconscious mind, it must happen. But the subconscious mind says, wait a minute, he's been smoking for 20 years, he needs cigarettes for security or whatever reason there may be for that person. Besides, you realize I have to do so many years of reprogramming and I just don't feel up to it. I don't want to do it. Reject the suggestion. Well, that's the critical factor's boss. So the critical factor of the conscious mind kind of turns into a mirror and rejects that suggestion, and it cannot go into the subconscious mind. Now we have only one more place to take that idea, and that is willpower. That is in the conscious, and we all know how long willpower lasts, how many diets we've been on, how many times we've tried to stop smoking. Well, how do we get positive suggestion into the subconscious mind? That's where hypnosis comes in. Hypnosis bypasses the critical factor. That is the blocking part of our conscious mind. It's like giving it a couple of dollars and sending it to McDonald's and we'll tell them when to come back. With the power of hypnosis, The instant the critical factor of our conscious mind is bypassed, we go into a very deep state of hypnosis. Now, when we are in the state of hypnosis, it's not what you expect it to be. Our bodies, if we are using relaxation type of hypnosis, are very relaxed, but the more we go into hypnosis, the more our conscious mind becomes alert. And the deeper level of hypnosis, your conscious mind is 2 to 300% more alert than you are at this very moment. All of your five senses, including hearing, smelling, tasting, and seeing, are hundreds of times better than they are right now. So when you are in hypnosis, you're not asleep. You are extremely alert, probably more alert and clear minded than you have ever been before. Now, the important thing to understand about this is that the conscious mind takes on a different role when you are in hypnosis. I want you to think of it as playing the role of the guardian of the gates protecting you. When you receive a suggestion in hypnosis, you hear it loud and clear. Now, when you hear that suggestion, and these are the tools for success or failure with hypnosis. When you hear that suggestion with your conscious mind, you must, and you really do have no choice, make one of four decisions about that suggestion. Which decision you make determines whether that suggestion is allowed to enter your subconscious mind or whether it's rejected. If it is allowed to enter, you will have the change that you want to achieve. If it's rejected, there will be no change. Now, what are those four decisions or choices? Well, the first one could be when you hear the suggestion, you think or say to yourself something like this: I like that suggestion. I know that one is going to work. Now, that mental attitude at the conscious level allows that suggestion to go into your computer, the subconscious, and change begins. Unfortunately, you have three other choices. The next choice could be not feeling it is something against your morals or beliefs, but perhaps that suggestion is just a tiny little bit uncomfortable to you. Like that pair of shoes you wanted to buy at the time, but you knew if you did, you would end up crippled in about 3 months because they just didn't fit right. Well, if that suggestion sounds just the tiniest bit uncomfortable to you for any reason, it is automatically blocked by the conscious mind. See the conscious mind as a guard dog at the gate of the subconscious mind, and it is not allowed to enter the computer, and there is no change. The next choice could be that you are neutral about the suggestion. You don't care if it gets in or not. It's kind of a meaningless suggestion to you. The conscious mind automatically blocks that suggestion and it cannot get into your computer. The final choice is the one that probably causes most people to fail with hypnosis. It goes something like this. When you hear the suggestion, say something to yourself like, oh, that's a nice suggestion. I hope it works. The word hope is a twin of trying, and trying automatic means failure. If you look back at your life and you're honest with yourself, every time you tried something, you failed. You tried to arrive on time. Usually means you arrive late or not at all. But when you say, I'll be on time, you'll be there on time or even a little bit early. When you said, I'm going to do that, you're probably very good at it too. So if you say, I hope or I will try, then this suggestion automatically blocks and is not allowed into the subconscious mind. Unfortunately, no change will take place, and it's that simple. A little thought. If you eliminate the words hope and try from your personal and professional vocabulary from this moment on, within a week you are going to feel better than you've ever felt in a long time. The only time a suggestion is allowed into your computer is if you take the mental attitude when you hear that suggestion I like that suggestion. I know it's going to work. And it is that easy. Now, let me give you some real truths. Everyone goes into hypnosis several times a day without realizing it. The emotions that you feel when you watch a movie are real, even though what happens in the movie is played. Yet you experience all those emotions. Take the classic movie Bambi, a cartoon we all know. It's just a cartoon, but yet we still felt sad when Bambi's mother died. At that moment, we are in hypnosis of the increased state of concentration on the cartoon. Our subconscious mind makes no decision between what's real or not. The subconscious mind follows the emotions that apply at that moment. Another example is when you're driving your car and you're so focused on a certain thought or feeling that when you arrive at your destination, you cannot remember a part of the road. At that time, you were in hypnosis. Hypnosis is a natural human state. You can never get stuck in hypnosis. You will never do anything against your will or morality in hypnosis. Remember that your conscious takes on the role of protector and that you are up to 300 times more focused. That means that you are more than ever in control over your own thoughts and feelings and what you do or do not want to do. You decide. You are at the wheel of your mental ship. I'm just a guide. You decide whether you follow me or not. If you follow me to be your guide, your hypnosis coach, I'll show you how to get yourself in a beautiful state of hypnosis, feeling the physical relaxation and the mental alertness. If you allow me to be your guide, I'll show you how to stay there until we are finished. If you don't want to be in this beautiful relaxed state, the slightest thought by you and it's over and you're back to your normal state of awareness. But if you follow my guidance, I'll show you how to stay there and I'll teach you self hypnosis, how to do it on your own. And then the most important thing of all is if you accept the suggestions given to you with the correct mental attitude, I like it, I know it's going to work, you'll have change in the way you want it. If you take one of the other choices, you will fail. I cannot force a suggestion into your mind. Only you can allow it to happen. Hypnosis is 100% consent state by you. You must allow things to happen. You can stop them from happening with the slightest thought if you don't want it to happen. Now I want you to understand that anyone, as long as their IQ is above 70 and they want hypnosis, can go into hypnosis. Very deep level of hypnosis. How fast? Well, just like that. The only thing that keeps a person from going into a beautiful state of hypnosis and mental alertness is if they have a fear or misconception about what hypnosis really is. And I would like to talk briefly about some of the more common fears and misconceptions of hypnosis. Some people feel that when you are in hypnosis that you are asleep. Well, I want you to know that when your mind is 3 or 400% more alert than you are at this very moment, this is about as far from sleep that you are ever going to get in this lifetime anyway. Hypnosis has nothing to do with sleep. Some people are afraid that they won't wake up from hypnosis, and that is true. I agree with that. I have never known anyone to wake up from hypnosis. You see, there's only one thing you can wake up from, and that is sleep. If you're not asleep, you just cannot wake up. Yes, we use words in our profession like sleep and wide awake. They are our only tools. The term is emerge from hypnosis. Anytime you want to emerge from hypnosis, all you have to do is have the slightest thought that you don't want to be in this relaxed state anymore, and instantly it's over and you're back to your normal awareness. Then there's that powerful misconception some people have that says, I can control you and make you do anything I want you to do. Well, I have to be honest with you. I wish that was true because then I could guarantee your success. But remember, you have those four choices when you hear a suggestion, and that the only time the suggestion is allowed to enter your computer is if you say, I like it, I know it's going to work. I cannot force that in. I cannot control you. I want you to know that you and you alone are responsible for your success, and you alone are responsible for your failure. What mental attitude you take when you hear a suggestion determines success or failure. Some people have the misconception that they will tell me all their deep, dark secrets when they are in hypnosis. For the same reasons of mental alertness, you are more in control of anything you choose to do or say while you are in hypnosis than you are right now. If you don't want to tell me something, then you won't. If I was to ask you information that was none of my business, you would simply tell me it's none of my business. No one can make you give up information. As a matter of fact, if I wanted that kind of information of you, I would have a much better chance of obtaining it now in your normal conscious awareness because right now you're mentally numbed compared to your mental capabilities when you are in hypnosis. Some people say, wait a minute, wait a minute, I hear what you're saying, but I've seen stage hypnotists work and I know those people control those folks. I've seen them bark like dogs and think they have body odor or something on this order. Let me tell you how stage hypnosis works. When a stage hypnotist comes to town, there's advertising, and a lot of people are interested, so they show up. They want to see the show, and a lot of them would like to be volunteers as subjects for the stage hypnotist. Now, when that stage hypnotist comes out and gives a little bit of a short lecture on hypnosis, showing the entertainment side of hypnosis, and there's a clinical side, he tells people, this whole show depends on you, the audience. You're the people that I need for the show. And he asks the people, is there anybody here who will volunteer to come up on stage? Well, you would be amazed how many hands go up. But that stage hypnotist does not necessarily take those people at all. He tells those people, he says, really good subjects are those individuals who have the best ability to imagine a wonderful imagination and the ability to concentrate. And he says he will give the whole audience a test for imagination and concentration. He's kind of telling a little fib, for he's testing the audience to find out two very important things. First, who goes into hypnosis like this? He has a stage show to put on. He can't waste time with long hypnotic techniques. More importantly, he's testing those people to find out who wants to have fun and who is shameless in public. These are the people he invites up on stage. They usually enter hypnosis very rapidly and very easily, and those people, when they hear the suggestion because they want to have fun, take the mental attitude, I like it and I want it to work, and it does. Many times on the stage, a person thinks they want to do these things, but when the time comes, they don't have the correct mental attitude and the suggestion is ineffective. The stage hypnotist sends those people back to their seats, or if it's long enough into the show, he will sit them on a stage chair and ignore them for the rest of the show. Stage hypnosis operates by the same rules as clinical hypnosis. You always have the choices as to whether or not you want that suggestion. If you don't want it truthfully, it will be rejected and there will be no change. So you see, Hypnosis is up to you. People ask me what my success rate is with smoking or weight control. I have to be honest, with those people, my success rate is 100%. I've had an awful lot of training in hypnosis for many years. I know exactly what to say to my clients, and if they accept those suggestions, they will have a wonderful change. And if they reject them, they will have no change. So my success rate is always perfect. Will yours be perfect? If you accept the suggestions with the correct mental attitude, I like it, I know it will work, yes, you'll have 100% success. If you accept with any other ideas, you will fail. It's up to you. I know you're going to enjoy our session together. I'd like you to remember hypnosis is a wonderful, wonderful way to change our lives, and it's available for you. Thank you for giving me this time with you. I'm looking forward to our session together. If there's something that I haven't covered in our talk you would like to know more about, I'll be happy to discuss this with you. Or if you have any other questions at this time, I'll be more than happy to answer them. See you soon.